I'm Sterling, this is Brilliant Stupidity, and here is how you can acquire every bleed weapon in Limgrave. Bleed weapons are great in the early game in Elden Ring, because bleed damage is percentage based. This means that you can sometimes take on enemies that you're significantly underleveled for using bleed weapons. I'm not including any weapons from Stormveil Castle or the Weeping Peninsula in this guide, but I might cover them in a future video. So, to start here, we're going to head up to the Gatefront Ruins, just to the north and slightly to the east of the first step. You want to head through the forest, you'll probably end up fighting a couple enemies there, but it's no big deal. You can do this right at the beginning of the game. My character is level 1 here. So towards the back of the ruins, specifically to the northeast there, you can see that there's a caravan, like a section of a caravan. That is where the Flail is. That's where you can find the Flail. That's the first weapon we're going for. You want to sneak around to the right here, just run there quickly. No need to fight any of the enemies in the camp. You will probably get rolled if you are just starting out. You really would want to have at least a couple levels before fighting all of these guys at once. There's just a couple guys here. One of them standing right in front, guarding the caravan here. You want to sneak attack him, then just finish him off pretty quickly. Right here, we can grab the Flail. This is a pretty cool weapon. The only downside of it is that it requires a dexterity of 18. It causes a blood loss buildup of 50 for every attack. And it scales D with both strength and dexterity. Here you can see just a quick clip. This is after my character's leveled up, so I can actually use the weapon effectively. It has pretty cool, like, especially when dual wielded, it has like very wide attacks for its fast attack. You can hit a lot of enemies at the same time with it. The heavy attack is pretty great too, very good for staggering enemies. This weapon is pretty solid against shields, and just in general, pretty fun weapon to use. Not objectively the highest DPS or anything like that, but pretty cool. Next, we are going to be going for the Uchigatana. That can be found at the Death-Touched Catacombs, which is directly north of the ruins that we were just in, the Gatefront Ruins. So you really do want to follow this path. And firstly, of course, you want to get your horse. So in order to get your horse, and then actually get up here, you need to rest at 3 sites of grace, and then a character will come talk to you. You just talk to them, and you will get the ability to summon your horse. Now, the great thing about your horse is that it allows you to go up through these air swells. So you can jump very high, and you can also fall very far without taking fall damage using those air swells that you saw me go up there really quickly. Just keep heading to the north here. You will have to drop down a cliff here, but it's not quite high enough for you to take fall damage. Just might want to double check, try to drop at a slightly lower spot there. Then we want to go up in this small pathway here. There's a couple statues there and other pretty identifying characteristics here. You can see the ghost out front. You'll probably see him before you actually see the door or anything like that. This is directly inside the catacombs. This was not my first attempt. Now to the right there, you can see there's a door and also a summoning spot. There is a boss in these catacombs. You don't have to fight him to get the katana, but he does have a pretty cool talisman. Pretty easy boss to defeat too. I beat him at just level 2 here, just with my little club. There's quite a few skeletons in that room. They will probably attack you. I ended up killing them there, but they're not too hard to fight. And then right here, you can find the Uchigatana. You can just leave. You don't, if you're fast enough, you don't even have to fight any of the skeletons or anything like that. Pretty easy. You can definitely do this at level 1 as well. This is a very good weapon. So it requires a strength of 11 and a dexterity of 15, and scales D with both strength and dexterity. So for the test here, this was recorded later, and I did actually end up leveling up the Uchigatana to +1. This shouldn't make too big of a difference for any of the damage or anything like that, any of the cutoff points, but the rest of the weapons were just their base version, so that may have made some difference here. But this weapon it's almost too good. I mean, all of the katanas in Elden Ring are very strong. This is one of them. Especially the bleed effect in the early game is very, very good with this, because you can just really fight like enemies that are super high level relative to you. So next we're going to be going for the Reduvia Dagger. So you want to see this little river here by the telescope and the bridge. You want to go up right into the middle of it there. You do have to go down and around, like near the lake, in order to get there without taking significant fall damage or even dying from just falling. You can see the path that I take here. You really do want to be pretty much on the exact same path here. If you go too far to the right into the lake, there is a dragon there that will kill you, most likely, unless you run away from it. Yeah, you have to be very careful about where you drop down there, because you can and will die from fall damage there. There's quite a few skeletons that drop down when you go under the bridge. You don't have to fight them. They're no big deal. You can fight them if you want. Just get a few into runes there. They take a decent amount of damage when they fall, actually, so... So right here, you can see the cave is to the left. Usually, you have to go all the way up to the cave in order to trigger the fight here, but for some reason, he just decides to attack me early. You'll get the message invaded by Bloody Finger Neregus at the bottom of your screen, and then he comes out to the left here, to the north, and he will attack you. So in order to trigger the rest of this boss fight, you need to just hit him once, and then you're just going to avoid him. For the next like 30-40 seconds, you're going to run away, you're not going to fight him, you're going to dodge him. The most difficult thing to dodge is that like blood wave attack that he has. That is actually the special with the daggers. It's really cool, really fun when you have it, but when he's using it against you, not that fun. So you just want to run away from him, and then you'll get this message at the bottom here. And then this guy will come and assist you. So this is an AI. They're both AI. If you're familiar with the invasion mechanic, this is pretty much how it works, but these are just like I guess an introduction to it. So your friend here, you do need to assist him quite a bit. You can't just like leave him to his own devices and let him beat Neregus. He will get his ass kicked, like every time. But he can tank for you for the most part. As you see here, sometimes you want to be taking the aggro of Neregus, just so he has a chance to heal and all of that. And other times you really want to be letting your friend face tank and just hitting Neregus in the back, trying to stun lock him, all of that. It will take quite a while, especially if you're level 2 like I am here. I would not recommend doing this until you're at least like level 10, 15. You know, have some halfway decent gear. This took me, I believe, 3 tries at this level. Yeah, you want to be playing very defensively, running away from him a lot, only hitting him in the back when you're pretty sure that he can't retaliate. And when you do get a chance to just get a big deal of damage in it with your friend there, you really want to be doing that. He does have a very limited number of heals. I believe he only has 1 heal, Neregus, and I think your friend only has 1 heal as well. And yeah, he dies in just a second here. There we go. So we got a Fur-Calling Finger Remedy and the Reduvia Dagger. So daggers in Elden Ring are not my favorite weapon. I'm not a big fan of them. But the Reduvia Dagger, out of all of the daggers that I've ever acquired, it is by far the best. It scales E with Strength, D with Dexterity, D with Arcane, and it does quite a bit of damage. Its special is really the biggest draw to it. I'm dual wielding it here, just because I dual wielded all the other weapons, it just seemed right. So you can see at the beginning there, what really does all of the damage with this dagger is the bleed effect. It stacks the bleed effect way faster than any of the other weapons on this list. But other than that, it is objectively weaker in almost every capacity. If you use it one-handed, there's only a very, very small, like, reduction in the DPS that you'll be doing. So that's pretty great. I mean, if you're always going to be using something in your offhand, it's a pretty good option. One area where it really struggles is against shields. You can't do much against shields with it. There's no shot you're going to be able to like attack them around it as they slightly move the shield or anything like that, like you will with the Flail or the Katana. You're not going to be staggering people or anything like that. And the actual range on it is pretty abysmal. Once you do stack that bleed though, and especially against opponents that are pretty easy to like just string hits on, and that don't have like a shield or anything like that, there are some opponents where you can just continue to proc that bleed effect and just absolutely destroy them. Okay, so now we've come back to the first step. We're going to be heading to the southeast this time. We're looking for the Bloodhound's Fang. You'll notice here that my character is actually wearing armor now and quite a few levels higher. And I'm wielding Katana. I upgraded it to +1 because I needed to win this fight. So we're going to be looking for the Bloodhound's Fang. It's a pretty awesome curved greatsword here. Has a really cool special, but you do have to win a fairly difficult boss fight to get it. Significantly harder than all of the boss fights previously. I would recommend you're a good like level 20 for this, maybe level 30. It depends on your skill level and are you willing to learn this boss's moveset and all of that. Can grab a grace here on your way down. Makes sense to do that. To my left here in a second, yeah, right there. You can see there's some soldiers fighting some demi-humans. They are a decent way to farm a little bit of runes. You'll only get a few hundred runes if you're just passively standing by them, but they will kill each other and die there. So now you can see where I am relative to the first step and all of that. You don't want to go through the lake. You definitely want to, once again, follow the pretty much exact path that I went down, or the dragon might just kill you. You want to enter the Evergold there, right in the middle. Then you just walk up to this kind of tear in the ground, and he will spawn, the Bloodhound Knight Darrowil. He has only a couple moves that are really punishable here. That is the first one, where he drags his left claw on the ground, and then like swings his greatsword all around. You do have to dodge both parts of that attack, but then you'll be able to get in a good 2 light, maybe 3 light, and 1 or 2 heavy attacks here. See, right again there, get in. It would have been 3 light attacks if I didn't miss one. That does quite a lot of damage, especially you really want to be using the Uchigatana for this fight, just because of its range. If you try to use the Reduvia Dagger, he just will not let you get off your special that often. He really, the second you try to go for anything range, just immediately punishes you. So the good thing about him is that he does his like most punishable move pretty frequently. And there's one more move that can be punished here. That one is also punishable, usually just by 1 light or maybe 1 heavy attack. But I wouldn't push your luck too much with that one. It's a bit less predictable. You can't really tell from the very beginning that it's going to be pulled out there. If you really want to, once you get the Uchigatana, I'm sure that you could one-shot this without getting hit once. But you would have to really know what you're looking for and be very patient with those attack patterns, because you can absolutely guarantee 2 light attacks when he does that 1 attack with his right claw, or left claw dragging on the ground, and then swinging his sword heavily. So fairly difficult fight. Then you get the Bloodhound's Fang. This is an awesome weapon. So it has a pretty cheap special, and its special is also very cool. It scales D with strength, C with dexterity, and causes 55 blood loss per attack. You do need 18 strength and 17 dexterity to use this weapon effectively, but I would say it's worth it, even if you are going for a fairly pure dex build. That heavy attack stagger is pretty awesome. That was a fully charged heavy attack though. And in the second here, you'll see just how powerful that special is, because it is insane for dealing with faster enemies. Right there, that was the special. You lunge forwards and then lunge backwards, just doing damage all the way. I'm still getting used to the attack patterns here, so I'm a little rusty. This isn't nearly as difficult to use as the previous weapons, though, especially the Reduvia Dagger. That is by far the hardest to use in a fight against humanoids like this. But I just absolutely wiped the floor with those enemies. And that's it. As far as I'm aware, there are only 4 bleed weapons with set spawn points in Limgrave. There are a couple more that you can get, but they're pretty much RNG drops, and they're really not that good anyways. They're not weapons that you should really bother going for, regardless. So, let me know in the comments which weapon is your favorite, and let me know if you have any additional like questions or concerns. If you're having trouble finding any of these weapons, I can answer your comments. Consider liking and subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Thank you again for watching.